When you decide to leave behind your full-time job and start building your own business, there's a lot of advantages, but there's also a lot of disadvantages. Now, one of the advantages is, well, you can build multiple streams of income. But on the flip side, those multiple streams of income might not be as steady as when you had a regular job. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video and some of the ways that you can build up some financial security as you're building your business. Let's jump into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Jonathan Moore. Thanks for stopping by. I have a visual media company. I'm a creative entrepreneur, and I like to make videos like these for other creatives who are trying to build a business on their terms and get it how they live. If that sounds like something that you're into, feel free to leave me some suggestions and comments below on different topics that you would like me to cover. So without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the advantages that you have at building your own business, but there's also some disadvantages that come along with it as well. Basically, we're going to be talking about the upsides, the downsides, and some things that you can do to protect yourself in the process while you're building up your business. First and foremost, let's jump into the advantages. One of the great advantages about building your own business is that you can control your own destiny. You can basically blaze your own trail, right? So you have the ability to create multiple streams of income. Whether you're selling a product or whether you're selling a service, you can work with multiple clients or you can have multiple buyers for your product. The nice thing is that if something were to ever happen to one of those streams of income, you wouldn't be out in the cold because basically you can either pick up more clients or you can find new customers to market your products to. In addition to that, you're not stuck just trying to climb the corporate ladder and hoping that your boss will give you a raise and or a promotion. Essentially, the amount of work that you put in can also determine the output and the compensation that you receive. So you have the chance for exponential growth. Also, while building your own business, you have the unique ability to be able to control your own schedule, which is something that a lot of people don't have, especially if you're working a full-time 9-to-5 job. Basically, they tell you what time you have to be there, what time you can go on lunch, and when you can leave. But once you start building up your own business, essentially you make all the rules. So you decide when you want to show up, and you also decide when you want to leave. You decide the days that you want to work, and you can also work with clients that you like. Now, don't get it twisted. There are going to be times that you have to work with clients that you don't like, but that's all part of the game. The nice thing is that you actually have the ability to fire clients that you don't like, and you're not forced to work with anybody that you don't align with. So in a nutshell, those are some of the advantages of building up your own business. But with the upside, there's always a downside. So let's talk about some of the disadvantages of building your own business. One of the major disadvantages of building your own business, especially if you're used to working a 9-to-5, is that you lose that steady stream of income. When you have a normal 9-to-5 job, you can expect your paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, on the same day at the same time. But as you're building up your own business, that steady paycheck is out the door. And now it all depends on you and your efforts. Also, there's going to be a lot of times where you have people who are just taking forever to pay you, which is annoying when you have to chase down clients, but you have to realize that it does happen. One of the other disadvantages is that you have to build everything from the ground up. So yeah, you do get to blaze your own trail, but since the trail isn't already blazed for you, you have to do everything from the smallest detail to balancing the books, making sure your numbers are right, and making sure that your clients are happy and satisfied. You also want to be making sure that you're delivering a great product and great service, so this way you can get either return customers or you can get referrals for new business in the future. Another disadvantage of having your own business is that there's essentially no clocking out. Now, I did say that you do get to make your own schedule and you get to set your own rules. But essentially, when you're building your own business, especially when you're first getting started, you're constantly thinking of different ways that you can grow your company, get more sales, and get more revenue. So even though you may not physically be working, mentally, your mind is always going to be running. And another disadvantage that a lot of people don't talk about is that building your own business can be a very, very lonely process. If you don't come from a family of entrepreneurs or business owners, then this whole process is going to be foreign to them. So if you decide to leave your job and you say that you want to build your own business and you're working towards that, a lot of people aren't going to understand that concept. Most of them would never understand why you would leave the security of a job to go ahead and follow your dreams. So it is a lonely pursuit. Even though people will be wishing you well, don't expect people to be your biggest cheerleaders. You're not going to get the support that you think that you should get from these people. But you also have to realize that everybody approaches things from their perspective. So if their perspective is having a job is the safest and the best route to go, then they're going to give you advice from their perspective. They're not looking at things through your eyes. They're looking at things through their eyes. And so you have to be able to respect that. You have to be able to accept that and continue to move forward. Keep in mind, when you're building up your own business, the stress is real and it's not for everybody. You may think that you want to do it, but then once you get into it, man, oh man, it's stressful. Like I said, you have really high highs, but you also have really low lows. And you don't know the amount of stress that you can endure until you're actually going through it. There's been many a nights where I've been stressed out. There's been weeks where I've just had nightmares because of all the stress. And then I've had months where I'm just sitting on top of the world. So it is a real roller coaster ride. But if you're built for it, if you're committed and you really think that you can make this happen, then my suggestion would be to go for it. Now that we laid out the advantages and the disadvantages, let's talk about some different ways that you can kind of help give yourself some financial security as you're in the process of building up your business. First and foremost, you want to focus on your primary income. Your primary income is basically your main revenue source. Whatever your main business is, you want to focus on getting as much sales and revenue in the door. There's a baseline that you know that you're going to need to hit to support your style of living. Now, depending on your age and what your circumstance is, you know that you have to make a certain amount of money per month just to be able to live. So you want to focus on your main skill, your main asset, and work on building up that revenue as fast and as much as possible. You also want to be always looking for different opportunities. If you do photography, and let's just say you do weddings, you always want to be looking for something else, whether it be portraits, whether it be mini sessions. If you can do video, maybe do some video every once in a while, just until you can get an established clientele base. And you always want to be looking for more opportunities to expand because, like I said, you have the ability to create multiple streams of revenue, which will help protect you if you ever lose a client or if you ever lose customers for a product that you're selling. The next thing I would say is make sure that you try to diversify your client-based income. Now, this is important, especially if you have a service-based business. Essentially, you're going to have a bunch of different clients that you work with, but your job is to try to diversify that client portfolio. You want to make sure that you're not stacked up too much in one industry. For example, if that one industry were to go under and most of your clients were in that industry, then you can take a very huge hit. A perfect example is this past year how restaurants and hotels just took a nosedive. So if most of your clientele was restaurants and hotels, then chances are your business is probably suffering right now. So make sure you have a diversified base of clients. That way, if something were to ever happen in one particular industry, you wouldn't be left out in the cold. The next thing you want to do is try to diversify your income. So you want to try to create passive and residual income. Now let's be clear, there's no such thing as real passive income. You're going to have to put some type of work in, whether it's time, whether it's money, whatever it is, you're going to have to put some type of work in on the front end and then continue to collect on the back end. Passive income can include things like stock, digital products, affiliate marketing, maybe you have a YouTube channel that's making money. Also, you can sell digital products, maybe even courses. But you want to always try to have different ways that you're making money in the background so then you can continue to build that up over time. The goal is that essentially after a while, you don't want to have to always depend on your clients to bring revenue in your business. You want to get to a point where there's products that you can create, that you can control, and that can make you money even after you've made the product. My next suggestion would be try to save as much money as possible. Cash is king, but it also is time, right? The more money you have, the more time you have. The more time you have, the more of a runway you have to get things up and running. Like I said, keep in mind, when you're in this, it's gonna be a roller coaster. You're gonna have some high months and you're gonna have some low months. There's going to be some months where you're balling out of control, and there's going to be months where you're going to have to be digging into your savings. You're going to need a little stash on hand to make sure that you can A, support your lifestyle, you can continue to produce a great product, and that you're not desperate trying to get business. That's why even though you're working on building up your main revenue source, you always want to be building up some type of passive income in the background, because slow money is better than no money. And my last tip would be to pay down as much debt as possible. Keep in mind that when you are building up your own business, you're not only building a business, but you're building a lifestyle, and you need to be able to support that lifestyle. Now, debt is one of those things that's going to chip away at you, right? It's the constant, slice that's just cutting away at you and bleeding you dry of all your money. You want to try to cut down as much debt as possible, because it's not always about how much money you make. Sometimes it's about how much money you keep. And if you have a lot of debt and you have a lot of bills, all that money that you're bringing in is going out the door. So you want to try to reduce your debt as much as possible so that you can keep more money on hand. So this way you have more time to breathe. You have more money to fund your lifestyle if you end up running into a low month. And you also don't feel as much pressure to make those monthly obligations. So that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully you found this video useful and helpful. And if so, give me a like, drop me a comment, let me know where you at on your creative journey right now. And if there's any other topics that you want me to cover in the future, just leave me a comment below and I'll make a video around it. So for all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.